We're talking about definite articles. So that's just a grammar term that means the. So in English, we just have one definite article. It's the word the. In Spanish, it's a little bit more complicated. There are actually 4 definite articles, and they have to agree with the noun in gender and number. So remember, nouns can either be masculine or feminine, and there's usually an ending that clues you in to which it is. And that's what we mean when we say gender. They also can be singular or plural, and that's what we're talking about when we say number. So let's just get right to it. With your definite articles, your 2 masculine articles are el if the noun is singular or los if it's plural. And then your feminine articles, la if it's singular and las if it's plural. Now again, all 4 of these words mean the. So if we're trying to say the, then we need these 4 words. If not, then most likely we don't need those words. But these are key to being able to communicate because this stuff comes up just later on. It's really, really important. So let's look at these 4 Spanish words. Piso, it ends in an O, no S there. So that O tells us that it's masculine. And it's also singular since there's no S. So the masculine singular article is el. So el piso is how you say the floor. Tijeras. It ends in AS. The A tells us that it's feminine. That S tells us that it's plural. So feminine and plural, it's going to be the word las. So las tijeras means the scissors. Basura ends in an A, no S. So that A tells us that it's feminine. The lack of the S tells us that it's singular. So feminine and singular will be la. So la basura means the garbage. Libros, OS, that O tells us that it's masculine. The S tells us that it's plural. So masculine and plural is going to be los. And that means the books. Now let's look at our English words here. So again, you need to start with knowing your vocabulary. So when you go into Voces, open up that table of contents, make sure you are in Chapter 2, click on Lista de Vocabulario, and that will take you here. So you'll notice when you look at that vocabulary list, it actually has the el or la in front of it. In front of scissors, it actually has las there. So it's really already done for you. And that's important because that clues you in to whether this is masculine or feminine. And sometimes you have exceptions like the ones listed here. El aula is an exception. And then you have words like reloj that ends in a J. And that's not one of the endings that really tells you much. So you want to start saying el reloj, el reloj, el reloj, el reloj. And eventually la reloj won't even sound right. So just kind of repetition. That is really what you do in English. You just say things so often that it just sounds right. And you don't even really know the rule. You just know. So let's look at these. The chairs. So if you look at your vocabulary list and you find the chair, where it just says chair here, silla, and now we know that that actually means the chair, then we know la silla would be the chair. But we're trying to say the chairs. So we need to work on our noun here, silla, ends in a vowel, so we add an S to make it plural. And we also need to change that la to las to make it plural. The next one, the ruler. Ruler in Spanish is regla. It ends in an A, so it's feminine. There's no S, so it's singular. So feminine and singular will be la regla. The office desk. You have 2 kinds of desks on your vocab list. You have pupitre. That's more of a student desk like what you have at school. Escritorio is more of an office desk. So we're going to go with escritorio here. It's just the one, so we don't need to make it plural. It ends in an O, so it's masculine. It's also singular. So masculine and singular will be el. And then this last one, the notebooks. The one notebook is el cuaderno, but we need to make it plural. So cuaderno ends in a vowel, add an S there, change el to los cuadernos. So that's how it works for normal nouns that follow the rules with the endings. Now, sacapuntas, that is one you've got to be careful with. Remember, sacapuntas does not change to sacapuntases. That is the one vocab word in this chapter that doesn't follow the rule on how to make things plural. So sacapuntas can be the one pencil sharpener or the several pencil sharpeners. So either way, it's going to be sacapuntas. You are not going to change that word at all. If you're saying the pencil sharpener and it's just one, you'll say el. If it's more than one pencil sharpener, it's still going to be sacapuntas. And you're just going to make that el plural and turn it into los. We don't have a lot of words like that you don't change, but there are some. So let's look at our exceptions. I'm getting this right here from our exception list. So if you have an exception that looks feminine but is actually masculine, you are going to use the masculine article, so el or los. If you have one that looks masculine but it's actually feminine, you are going to use the feminine articles, la or las. So at this point, we've established that these are exceptions. We just need to decide if they're singular or plural. So clima, it's singular, no S there. It will be el. Temas has an S, so it's plural, los. No S on dia, el. Sofás has an S, it's plural, los. Poema, no S, el. Mapas, it's plural, los. And then manos, same thing, la or las. There's an S there, so it will be las. Photo, no S, so it is la. Now, one last thing before we go. Dos, los libros. We've got a number here. I want you to think about whether or not this makes sense. So dos, we know means two. Los, we just learned means the. Libros means books. To the books. That does not make sense. So keep in mind, if you're using a number and you want to say two books, just dos libros. If you want to say the books, then say los libros. But you're really not going to ever need a number and an article together.